My new stock, which has just brought in 100% return. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing well after yesterday's news. Today, we're going to go through a stock that has reached 100% return in my stock market portfolio yesterday. And that means that we are currently on 7 or 8 holdings that are up over 100%, which is absolutely amazing. And that's not including all the ones that we've sold previously as well. So we're going to do a little bit of a news update into this stock and where I see this stock going. And as well as that, I'm also going to go through a point of view is that one thing that I always get asked is like, how do I spot these stocks to go up 100% return? How have I got 7 or 8 holdings right now in my portfolio that are up over 100%? And that's not including ones that we've sold previously. And quite often I get asked, how do I spot these opportunities? And one thing that I always kind of get at, and this was on the video that I did on Monday where I was talking about how to scale up to a 100k stock market portfolio, is that I said, you can achieve a 10% return, and that's quite, in my opinion, quite easy to achieve. And as an individual stock picker, getting a 10% return in the stock market every year is quite a easy thing to do. And quite often when I say them sort of things, there's a few people that go, but it's not. 10% return is actually quite tricky to do. And I totally disagree. As an individual stock picker, to get a 10% return a year, in my opinion, is quite easy to do. And this is just another prime example of a stock that I bought 3 years ago. I noticed that it was a great company. I noticed the stock was sold off. And as an individual stock picker, I took that opportunity to buy that company and thought, you know what, I'm going to make good money in this stock in the next few years. And here we go. If you wanted 10% return a year, you've got 30%. This individual stock that I've picked has made up over, 100% return in them 3 years. And that's just a prime example of being an individual stock picker, buying them amazing opportunities when you see them, and you get a very good return and you can outperform the market. And this is just, once again, another example of picking stocks and outperforming the market, and you can do it. And this is why I said on the video, sometimes I say these things and some people get a bit upset when I say that a 10% return is quite easy to do as an individual stock picker. And people sometimes don't like that, but I still stand by, if you're an individual stock picker, you can do this. And today is another example of a stock that I picked out 3 years ago that was sold off. It's a great company, and it's outperforms that average return of 10%. And if you can keep doing this, you'll have a portfolio that scales up really fast. So we're going to go through that all today. If you could smash the like button, if you're new here, subscribe. If you do want to join the Patreon, where I do talk about stocks I'm buying or selling, and I also just put an exclusive video up there talking about Smile Direct Club and Wish. The link to join that is in the description. We do 2 exclusive videos there a week. We currently have 640 members on there, which is crazy. It's probably one of the biggest conversions of subscribers to patrons that I think is out there on YouTube, which is says a lot really, and it's a great community. There's some really good investors on there, some really good chats that go on there every day. And if you do want to start investing, there's some links to some brokers in there. You join through there, especially the free trade one, you get a free share as well, which is pretty good to help you get started. But the stock that made 100% return yesterday, my new stock that's up over 100% yesterday, was Facebook stock, FB. So I do have 2 holdings. This one I have one in my Giro account and one in my Trading 212 account. And the Giro today went up over 100%. And what kind of happened was this little jump here. It's been hanging on. It's been on a very good run recently, as you can see over the 6 months period. But yesterday there was just this little spike here, and it just pushed it above 100% return, which was really good. And as well as that, it crossed the big line here. It came $1 trillion company as well, which is pretty cool. Now, I actually started buying Facebook around about this little dip here, which actually now looks like a very, very small blip in the stock chart. But this is when I actually first started buying Facebook shares. And what kind of happened here, and I've done a lot of averaging here, there and everywhere, because I still thought back then, even at these sort of prices, the company was really cheap. Is basically there was like a 20% drop, and it was on the Cambridge Analytica. And ever since then, whenever there's a little bit of dips, I've been buying, because I thought this company was ridiculously undervalued compared to what other companies that were here. There's always been a cloud that's kind of hung over Facebook and stopped it performing as much as the other stocks, like your Amazons, for example, your Apples. And I think people are kind of realizing now this is a great company. And basically the news that kind of helped it, and now that things are kind of moving out of the way, and meaning this stock can run up, is this. So if you don't really follow Facebook, basically they had a anti-monopoly lawsuit against them, which basically is saying like they're controlling too much of like the social media, which I just thought was a load of rubbish, because you think you got Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, there's so many more companies that are doing a lot more than this. So I always thought, this for me wasn't going to go anywhere, and I thought they would never be able to break, Instagram, WhatsApp up and everything. And it turned out that's happened. I think there's a lot more people. It's like, where do you start, where do you stop? I think there's a lot more companies that you would look to start with. For example, I think like Google own like 90% of the search engine, for example, and I just thought you just can't go anywhere. This would cause so many problems, and I think Facebook is just, I don't know what it is. Sometimes people just like to go for Facebook, and I just thought, I can't see this going anywhere. And like I say, that kind of like little red flag that's kind of been on the company has kind of disappeared, and that's what kind of helped the stock go up a little bit more. So overall it's been a pretty decent kind of few years, and that one little thing as well that's kind of held it back has gone as well, which is a really good thing for the company. And even right now, like, in my opinion, Facebook isn't like a crazy overvalued company. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the days of it being cheap are kind of gone. Buying a great company at cheap prices, I think them days are kind of gone. But it's not overvalued still, in my opinion. This company's sitting around a P ratio of 30. And when we look at the growth in a minute, buying a company at a P ratio of 30 is pretty good as well. And just to put that into context of, like, when I said earlier about spotting these opportunities, is that when I go back onto this here, which kind of shows that face there that popped up, made me jump for a second. When I go back to here, you can see here in 2018, you can see here the valuation, it was about 30p, but look what happened in 2018. Look, it dropped down to a 24, and then a 17p ratio. This valuation on this company, this is spotting these opportunities. It's spotting these opportunities where the company P ratio nearly went in half, and it was ridiculously sold off. And when you start running the numbers as well, on a forward P and the growth that it's going to have, that's just going to get cheaper and cheaper. That's what I mean. Even now, like, it's a 23p ratio, which isn't on a forward P ratio, which still means that Facebook isn't crazy, overvalued right now. I think Facebook could easily be a $400 to a $500 stock, which is the crazy thing. I'm not talking about a company here that's been on a good run and now is probably overvalued. Like, I'm still holding my shares because I still think they're going to go up, but it just shows you, like, that little drop off there, spotting them little opportunities where you kind of pick these great companies up on cheap valuations and make a lot of good money in the long term and outperform the market. And on Facebook as well here, I mean, look at the revenue and profit growth, which the valuation just drops. And once again, you're picking up a company here that, look, the revenue is going to be growing nearly 20%, the profit's going to be growing up nearly going up nearly at 20%. And let's not forget a balance sheet here. The balance sheet is so strong, one of the strongest balance sheets out there, maybe even the strongest balance sheet. And don't forget what you're getting here with this company is you are getting a massive moat. You're not just talking about Facebook, which people think is dying off a little bit. Instagram, I think Instagram is going to be the biggest social media platform. You're picking up WhatsApp, Messenger, and Oculus as well. That's massively growing as well. So you think about the moat on this company. There's multiple income streams, and Facebook as well. Involved in this. On the online advertising. Online advertising is just going to grow. Facebook's going to be able to put its rates up as it grows, and Instagram as well. You've noticed that little start of that. Facebook is actually considering growing its e-commerce more and more. And if that carries on building, you talk about Facebook, which could be a social media play and also an e-commerce play as well. So the moat on this company is absolutely huge. Financially very good, management very good, valuation is still not too bad. But like I said, at one time we were picking this company up at a 17p ratio, which is just massively wrong. The disconnect between the valuation to the price is massively wrong. And the little red flags that were here, they're all starting to go a little bit. And this is the thing, is like, when a lot of these news articles come out, you've got to really kind of run this against the company and go, realistically, this news that's out here that's affected the share price, or is stopping a stock from performing, is this really a major concern to Facebook? And all these things that have ever come out against Facebook, which have bashed the company, that when we go back to the share price and basically, stop the company performing quite a bit. You look at 2018 to 2020, the stock did 15%. You look at these things and you think, this company is just ridiculous. It's just getting bashed. And this, you look at what we previously at the financial, the profit was growing, the revenue was growing, the valuation was just going lower. Between 2018 and 2020, this company was massively on sale. This was an example of a big blue chip company that's great for a portfolio, a massive moat, financially amazing, balance sheet amazing, management team amazing, massive moat. And there was just this disconnect between how the company was doing in the share price, and it's just identifying these opportunities and buying them. And there's points here where you might have, I had to wait. I've had to wait 3 years. This is the big thing, is sometimes you've got to have patience in the stock market. I had to wait 3 years to outperform the stock market, but when it outperforms, boom, we shoot up. And this is the thing, is like stocks, you don't know where stocks are going to go. The stock prices can go anywhere, but when they start performing, they move so quickly. And you look at Facebook here, since the start of 2020, it's done 63%. And that's just a little thing, is like spotting these opportunities, and it just comes easy to outperform the market, and having the patience to believe in your company. I believed in Facebook. I was looking at the company going, this company is financially performing and the valuation is ridiculous, and I just had that patience, and here we go. And so yeah, I just wanted to make this video just talking about really, Facebook in general, just a bit of a news update, because it is one of my big holdings. It was through 2019 and a lot of 2020 was my biggest position in the stock market portfolio. I just wanted to do an update in that, because it has a big effect on my portfolio. Wanted to do a bit of a news update in Facebook, and kind of wanted to do a little bit of an update on how to spot these opportunities so that you outperform the market as well. So yeah, I hope that was useful anyway for you guys, and congratulations to any of you guys that are Facebook shareholders. Post down in the comments, let me know how you're all doing. I'm sure you're doing quite well at the moment with this run we've been on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there was some useful information in there. As always, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next video.